Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is David and today I'm going to be talking about Battlefield 4. Now, I'm not actually a big enough YouTuber to have Battlefield 4 gameplay on my channel. You have to have special permission from EA or DICE, but some GTX 780 SLI Battlefield 3 gameplay will have to do for now. Really quickly, mode map gun, I'm playing Team Deathmatch 48 players on Epicenter using the KH2A2. It's the first time I've ever used this gun on PC, I believe. I've used this on Xbox a few times. But in today's Battlefield 4 multiplayer breakdown, I'm going to be talking about classes, weapons, and attachments. I've watched a lot of gameplay videos by people that have been playing it at E3, I've watched a few Twitch live streams, and I've read some forums with people that have been on E3, so this is a summary of information that they've learned. The same 4 classes from Battlefield 3, that's Assault, Engineer, Support, and Recon, are back in Battlefield 4. The Assault class uses assault rifles as their primary weapon. Their primary equipment is the medic bag that works the same way as the Battlefield 3 one, where you stand near it and it regenerates your health, but they have an option to use a different type of medic bag. It's more like a band-aid. Somebody can take it with them and it'll regenerate their health regardless of how far away they are from you. Defibrillators need to be charged before you can use them, so this effectively eliminates Rambo reviving. There is a time delay before you can revive somebody after successfully reviving another person. So this is a very welcome nerf to the Assault class. The Assault class in Battlefield 3 was by far the strongest. The Engineer class now uses PDWs or SMGs. These will be guns like the P90, the MP7, the MP5K, and a new one in Battlefield 4 is the CZ Scorpion Evo. Some of you that play Call of Duty Black Ops 2 may be familiar with this gun. The Engineer can carry anti-tank mines and the repair torch at the same time, and you weren't able to do that in Battlefield 3. They also have access to a plethora of explosives like the RPG, the Stinger, the Small, the main battle tank LOL, and hopefully the EOD bot will make a return. The Support class uses light machine guns as their primary weapon. Their primary equipment is the ammo bag, where you put it on the ground and everybody around you will have their ammo refilled. But now you can choose a different type of ammo pack. It's kind of like the band-aid from the Assault class, where somebody takes it with them and it can replenish their ammo wherever they go. The Support class now has access to grenade launchers with various types of projectiles, like the regular high explosive grenades and smoke grenades. Mortars, fortunately, don't seem to be making a return. The Recon class uses sniper rifles as their primary weapon. They now have access to C4 again like they did in Bad Company 2, and they also have access to motion sensor grenades like they did in Battle Company 2. Now it appears you can unlock variable zoom scope, so you'll have access to 8x and 12x in one scope. It looks like country-specific guns are going to be making a return, so there's Chinese guns and United States guns that you can only use on either team until you're a high enough level and you unlock the gun to use on the other team. Each class has access to carbines, DMRs, and shotguns. Carbines are going to be better at close-range combat than assault rifles. These include guns like the M4A1, the ACR, and the G36C. Designated marksman rifles, or DMRs, fire high-power rounds like the NATO 7.62 in semi-automatic mode. So these will be guns like the M417, the M39, and in the case of Battlefield 4, the Kel-Tec RFB. Shotguns are pretty self-explanatory, and they're available for all classes again. Pistols can be customized just like your primary weapons, so you can add things like flashlights, suppressors, optics, and laser sights. There are now 2 types of laser sights available for most guns. A green laser sight is stealthier. You're less noticeable at a distance, but you also won't blind your enemy more. The red laser sight, you're very noticeable at a distance, but you will blind your enemies a lot, and both of those seem to reduce your hipfire spread. There are different types of grenades available for each class as well. You have the high explosive grenade, the M67 that we know from Battlefield 3. Now we have the flashbang and the incendiary grenade. The flashbang will blind people in a certain radius and the incendiary grenade will set people on fire. Incendiary grenades can be used tactically to block off paths to objectives so people can't walk through that area without setting themselves on fire. I just noticed a transition in the gameplay video. I'm going to be using the F2000 with a laser sight soon. If you want to see what the customization or loadout screen looks like, I attached a link in the description with an album of a lot of screenshots of Battlefield 4. There are over 1,200 items that you can unlock, and these 1,200 items include camos and attachments. These are unlocked with battle packs. You can earn them through regular experience, or you can buy them with real money. So buying these is going to be like buying the shortcut packs in Battlefield 3, or if you're familiar with Mass Effect, buying the booster packs for weapons and attachments. When you attach sights to your gun, you now have the option to add an offset sight. This offset sight can be an additional level of zoom that you put over your red dot sight. So you can have a red dot sight that you use regularly and an ACOG scope off to the side, and when you need a higher level of zoom, you press the T button and you'll add the ACOG sight. Or you can have a high level of zoom as your primary sight and have iron sights or red dot sight as your sight off to the side. So if your regular sight is the ACOG scope but you want a lower level of zoom for close combat, you press the T button and you'll shift over to using the offset iron sights or red dot sights. So that's really cool. As to what you can put on the end of your barrel, a lot of attachments are returning from Battlefield 3, like the flash hider, the heavy barrel, and a new one I've seen is the muzzle brake, and this obviously reduces recoil. For guns with the rail system, you can attach a bipod or two types of foregrips. The angle foregrip reduces initial recoil, and the vertical foregrip increases your movement speed while aiming down sights and reduces your hipfire spread. Now, squad perks in Battlefield 4 work a lot differently than they did in Battlefield 3. In Battlefield 4, now you choose an upgrade path, offensive or defensive. An offensive path would give you things like squad sprint or squad ammo. A defensive path would give you squad cover or squad flak. Everybody in your squad shares experience towards the next upgrade. So things like kills, kill assists, spot assists, suppression assists, and so on and so forth, all of these add points to earning your next upgrade. One person dying doesn't affect upgrade process, but if everybody on your squad dies, then you will go down an upgrade level. So this is very much like score streaks from Call of Duty. There are 5-player squads in Battlefield 4 as opposed to the 4-player squads of Battlefield 3. Anybody can spawn on anybody within a squad, but some servers may only allow spawning on the squad leader. The squad leader in Battlefield 4 has a lot more responsibilities. They issue commands with the commo rows, and they interface directly with the commander. They have to acknowledge whether they are accepting the commander's orders. Speaking of which, commander mode is making a return in Battlefield 4. The commander oversees the battlefield. They can send out UAVs, they can drop vehicles, they can drop ammo and medical supplies in an emergency. The commander can set attack or defend orders around objectives, and they can set specific orders to different squads. So while everybody else is playing a first-person shooter, the commander is playing a real-time strategy game. When you spot enemies in Battlefield 4, you have to actually go through an animation, so you can't just spam Q all the time and expect to be ready for firefights. You can now dive underwater to avoid gunfire. In Battlefield 3, you can only swim on the surface. You can use pistols underwater as well. The sun in Battlefield 4 has been drastically nerfed. I know that was a common complaint in Battlefield 3 with the sun being too bright. Suppression has also been nerfed. Suppression is good enough to be used tactically, but you won't have a blurry screen the entire game. And finally, one of my favorite pieces of information about Battlefield 4 is that destruction has been enhanced. I felt that destruction in Battlefield 3 was kind of limited. Battlefield 4 will now feature much more destructible environments, and if you remember the multiplayer demo from E3, the skyscraper falling down was player caused and not a scripted event. So far from what I've seen, Battlefield 4 seems to be shaping up to be a solid game mechanics wise. I do think that the graphics could look a lot better though. It looks like it was designed off Frostbite 2.5 instead of Frostbite 3. Thanks so much for watching guys, my name's David and I'll see you next video.